All right, guys, we see the Eastern Conference quarters go to 3-3 in the series as Detroit takes one from Cleveland in Cleveland. Cleveland can't close out tonight, but this was a wild one. A lot of role players got involved. Detroit had very balanced scoring, as I mentioned. Dennis Jenkins had a little bit of a mini run, some kind of really good effect to start the beginning of the second half on my Instagram page, on our Instagram page. Contributors up and down the line. Sasser even added points and was like a plus 20 something. Amazing. Everyone on Detroit was a plus in the plus minus category tonight, which, they won by 21, 115-94. So that's not that surprising, but it is pretty crazy. And it is wild because Cade Cunningham had 21, but he went 1 for 8 in the second half, making a 3-pointer to start off the scoring in the second half for him. He missed his last 7. But Detroit got around it with the balanced scoring. Everyone contributed up and down the roster. Very surprising. We have said before that Detroit needs that balanced scoring to kind of stay in these games and win. It's going to be Cade, it's going to be Tobias, but you got to get a lot from all the other guys on the roster. And as we saw tonight, they absolutely did that. Paul Reed had a new playoff career high in his 45th playoff game. So they really, in points, so they really got it from the entire bulk of the roster. Yeah, so the point is we are coming up on well, they're starting now. I'm going to get this out hopefully in the next half an hour, 40 minutes. It'll be halftime, second quarter. I hope this gets some traction in terms of being viable. But yes, we've talked about this series before, San Antonio, Minnesota. I've got Scott with a little take on this. Let's hear from Scott and his thoughts on what might happen. We do see the Thunder take on the Spurs, who might be able to wrap up the series tonight in Minnesota.
Let me just climb on board with this. I went and looked up that Spurs roster. Oh my God. It is boring in the most beautiful way possible. You mean Mason Plumlee, Kelly Olynyk are still kicking around the association, big, goofy jokers that they are. I cannot believe that. And if they win this series, if they manage to get past Minnesota, I'm not even sure. I'll get to a prediction on that, but I'm not really sure. If they manage to get there and they're going to play the Thunder are going to beat them because the Thunder are going to be better rested. But you know what? That is going to be the nerdiest, most boring, most also amazing series ever. I thought nothing could replace the finals from last year. I really didn't. I really didn't think there was any way that anybody could top the finals last year for just a boring, just slog fest that is just incredible if you actually like basketball and don't just, like bright lights or something. But no, I think this Spurs team versus Oklahoma City will be the nerdiest, most boring, most absolutely incredible basketball series one could possibly watch.
Yeah, Scott, I got to say, I'm pretty excited about a Thunder-San Antonio matchup if we do get it. We'll see. We got a lot of time left to go in this one. I'm recording this super early on. But yes, if that comes to fruition, maybe I'm nerdist, maybe I'm just a nerd, but I enjoyed the Pacers and the Thunder last year, and I enjoyed the Thunder in general. The Spurs have Victor Wembanyama, who's obviously just a freak of nature. He's the alien. He is an alien. And, the Thunder have got SGA and Chet and Jalen. But yeah, the Spurs are just kind of a bunch of balanced young scorers who can do it all. Both of these teams are really good overall teams. And we'll see what happens. But let's talk about a little bit of the Minnesota Timberwolves San Antonio Spurs game tonight. Not going to get too deep into it. We've kind of discussed this series and what I thought the key factors would be. I will say my thoughts on Julius Randle were not correct. I think he's a key to this team going forward. If they do make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think he's a key to this series if they do want to win. But they've seen a lot from Ayo Dosunmu, who came back from injury. Awful in the first game he came back. He's been successful and super savvy and really shooting the ball. He's averaged 20 points per game since he's been back. Since he's been back. But yeah, Julius Randle's averaged 18 in this series, which isn't bad. But he's shooting 43.5% from the field and 20% from 3. That's just not going to get it done. He's never had a shooting percentage over 33. His last 10, he's shot 33% from 3. For San Antonio, 20%. It just hasn't been there. So yeah, he's not looking good. Obviously, again, he's got 18 points per game, but he's really doing it on volume, which can be a Julius Randle problem if you've seen him with the Knicks or any of his previous stops. But we'll see who the Thunder await after tonight in this Spurs Timberwolves game. Again, Spurs up early. We're very early on. Both teams shooting well. Spurs have had more attempts at shots. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, it's on Prime Video going on now. It'll be on while you're watching this. But please, enjoy this game. Enjoy the evening. We'll catch you up on what happens on an Instagram post later tonight. And thanks for sticking with Sports Robbins. Again, thanks, Scott. Your take on this series is fun. It's super intriguing. It's really interesting. I appreciate your particular thoughts. I'm intrigued that Harrison Barnes is a Spur. I don't think he doesn't ever plays, but I totally forgot he was still a Spur. But yeah, there's some wild people on this roster. They've got some young talent that can really do it, and I get it. You know, they've got some of these kind of older vets just kind of hanging around on the bench. Barnes was a starter in Golden State. He was a starter in San Antonio, but he's kind of been relegated to the bench over the past couple of years. He's certainly stashed deep there now. But yeah, San Antonio, Minnesota, early on. San Antonio with the lead. We'll see what develops. And again, I think just generally, San Antonio, better chance of getting the Western Conference Finals, better chance of beating the Thunder. But we'll see what these Timberwolves can do. Can Julius Randle execute at a high level? Will Ayo Dosunmu continue his run? We shall see. We'll see if they get any kind of contributions up and down the line from anyone else. And let's see what Anthony Edwards can do. As Reed as well. Let's see what the Timberwolves can bring in this Game 6 tonight. Timberwolves and Spurs, Minnesota. Enjoy the game. See you later.